and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers, including the actors that play them. My name is Brandon.
I am Lena.
I'm Will.
And today, we may have a pretty short episode, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. There's not a lot that happened. I mean, there's some things that happened, but there's not a lot that happened this week. We're definitely going to go ahead and talk about the two comics, issue 1 of Mighty Morphin and also issue 1 of Power Rangers. I'm thinking of like 1 and 2, two different comics, but issue 1 of Mighty Morphin and issue 1 of Power Rangers. We will be discussing that today, and we will be also talking about some things that happened this past week. I will preface this by saying that Tribunal of the Grid is not a gossip site. We are not a gossip podcast. We report on things that are happening in the Ranger community and also what is going on, dealing with the Ranger actors. But we don't be dealing in their tea. We don't be getting in their business because that's not our business. That's not what we do. Ain't nobody name on this podcast is Wendy Williams. So, we're not doing that. How you doing? We're not doing that. But this is newsworthy, and this does tie into Rangers because this is dealing with Rangers. So this past week, as a matter of fact, Tuesday, Austin St. John had made, some comments about Black Lives Matter and systemic racism that did not tickle the fancy of a lot of fans, and it really left a very bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Actually, a huge mouth, a lot of people's mouths in the fandom, a overwhelmingly amount of mouths in the fandom. A lot of people were very upset with these comments that he made. It's unfortunate, but I do want to say this in lieu of the situation. We have to realize, and this is something that I think I've said a couple times on the podcast in general, we have to realize that first and foremost, these actors are people. They are people with their own opinions. They have their own political affiliations. Some do not align with majority of ours. And for the most part, we don't know for sure where their loyalty lie. However, you can kind of guess and kind of gauge it based on the things they say and, certain things. You can kind of figure where they go, where they are, where they're leaning towards. But, we don't know 100% for the most part. For some of us, we don't know. And it's just best to, first of all, recognize that they are human beings, but also realize that the characters that they're playing are characters. It's always good to keep in mind that you can like the character, you can like and adore whatever character that they're playing, but at the end of the day, recognize that behind that character is a whole different human being. Just keep that in mind. And another thing that I also want to briefly hit on is the comment that basically where he's saying, racism, he doesn't believe that racism is institutional. And what I would like to say to that, being a Black queer man in the United States, what I'd like to say to that is it's very easy for someone who is not of a person of color descent to say that. It's very easy. What I also don't understand is how can you say that when you have other co-stars who you've worked with, like, for example, Walter Jones, who's who's spoken about, racial inequality and discrimination. Nakia Burrise, who also has spoken out about racial inequality and racism. Her and Karen Ashley did a lovely podcast episode with Lisa J on No Pink Spandex. You guys should definitely check it out. Where those two ladies definitely hash out, the evils of racism and racial inequality and institutionalized racism in America. Great episode. Definitely check it out. So he's worked with these people of color. And to say that you do not believe that racism is institutionalized is basically discounting everything and every experience that they've ever experienced in America. To be truthfully honest, it's very discouraging. It hurts to know that this is what you think, but at the same time, it's also kind of like, okay, whatever. You're just another person who believed this. Okay. But it does sting to know that someone as popular as you in the fandom does feel that way. And also, too, what ended up happening was when he posted this, basically the fandom kind of went on a witch hunt. What do you think happened? Just take a wild guess, y'all. What exactly happened when the Ranger fandom went on this hunt?
Well,
just take a wild guess.
I'm sure they found a list of people that they want to add to the list based on the comments that they share or liked, based on certain, videos or comment towards whatever the issue is in our society at this that is on the rise right now or is currently happening.
That's exactly what happened.
And you know what? I want to say something. I want to say now, going back to what you had emphasized earlier, is that yes, these rangers are people and they are definitely entitled to their own opinions and stuff like that. But it does make me wonder, and again, this is not to be like, oh, this and that, but they were originally on a show that supposed to show equality and we're literally in this together kind of a thing, all that stuff. But anyways, with that aside, I always find it quite interesting when people in general, people in the entertainment industry, people of higher power, people with a great platform that they can actually share whatever they want and the fans will eat it up because that's what we're here for. But I always find it quite interesting that they share too much. Like with, so what I mean by that is like, if you were, I'm just gonna flat out say, if you're a Trump supporter, there is nothing wrong with having an opinion of being a Trump supporter. There's nothing wrong with you voting for Trump in the regards that is solely what you wanted. But I do find it interesting is that you aren't afraid to voice that at all in any aspect. Like, you're not afraid to make a comment or like a comment. And I don't know, I just find that, like, if I was someone in a higher power and a higher position or with a great platform to share my opinions, I think those would be stuff that I wouldn't want the world to know. Not because I'm ashamed of it, because obviously you're not ashamed of it. You're not ashamed of your own opinions, and you shouldn't be, because those are your opinions. But I would not want to be part of this witch hunt, that's for sure.
Absolutely not.
That's just me.
Absolutely not.
That's just me. I wouldn't want people to chase me and like, again, we're all entitled to our own opinions, and I emphasize that. I'm not saying you can't be a Trump supporter if you are. Just saying that. Just don't attack me.
No, and I mean, what you're saying, it makes perfect sense, and I agree 100% with it. It's one of those situations where it's like, believe whatever you want to believe. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, that's what America is all about. You know, you have your own beliefs and this, that, and the third. And I'm glad that you did touch on a specific point, which is what I wanted to hit on, is the fact that these are the same actors who were a part of a show that literally promoted inclusivity and diversity.
Yep.
Like your entire cast comes from various different races and ethnicities and
all sorts of backgrounds.
All sorts of backgrounds, sexualities, even, because David Yost was not straight, so various different sexual orientations, like your whole cast is diverse. Of course, Billy was straight, but let me make that clear. But the actor wasn't. But it's like this is the entire cast. Like everybody is made up of different things. So for you to be a part of something like that, and not only be a part of it, but be a historic figure in this, because everybody knows you, whether they are fans of the show currently, were fans back in the 90s and just kind of fell off when you left, or whatever the case is, everybody knows you. And of course, they're going to go back to what they remember. And the thing, and it's kind of daunting to know that that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, like
and
that's messed up.
Not even just that, but what's even more messed up is that, like, I'm talking about the actual actresses and actress themselves. They're friends with each other. So telling me that, like, you support racism and you support what's the other, like,
misogyny.
Yes, misogyny and all that stuff, when your friends are exactly that. Like, are exactly people of color, people with different sexualities, like so it just blows my mind, where I'm like, how do you support that? How do you vote for something like this? Or how do you want to vote for something like that? Or how do you want that in your society, in your life, when, like, your friends are, like, going back to the original cast, like David Yost is not straight. I'm sure they were a tight cast. I'm sure they were really good friends with each other, or are really good friends with each other. Or you have people like Nikita, like they're still really good friends with her, or from what we understand, right? So it's just like, how do you support that when these are your friends? These are your people.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they would be really quick to say, "Oh, I don't support racism," but you literally are supporting someone that has made such a spectacle of themselves, being racist, being homophobic, transphobic, being a misogynist, and you're not supporting that, but you're supporting that person. So what is it? And how can you not realize what you're doing when they're giving, like, the person that you're supporting is giving you so many instances of where they stand as a human being and what they support, as well as their supporters. But you don't realize what that means. Like I just don't understand that.
Right. And that's the part that kind of, in a way, not just puzzles me, but it kind of hurts me as a member of the fandom, as someone who's been rocking with this show. You know what I'm saying? For since the very beginning, like, going on 30 years. It's like I've been rocking with this show since then, and it's like, to know that it's like, dang, like that's how you feel. It's like, like you saying that basically makes me feel like everything that I've went through, and like I've shared a couple times, some of the things that I've been through just in general with dealing with, racism and police brutality and things of that nature. Did my dealings with the police and stuff. Like, I've shared a couple of times some of that stuff, and it's like all of that stuff is deeply rooted and institutionalized racism.
Yeah.
So for you to say, I don't believe this, is basically you saying, I don't believe you dealt with that. I don't believe that you suffered any of this stuff. And it's
Oh,
like,
Brandon,
dag.
There has to be a reason. Like, are you sure you didn't do anything to deserve that?
Right. That's literally what I hear. That's literally what I hear when someone says, "No, I don't believe that, you dealt with any, I don't believe that institutionalized racism exists." Like that's literally what I hear. It's like, what did you do to incite that? What,
Walking
mind my
down
own
the damn
business?
street. Exactly.
Exactly, mind my business, and then all of a sudden get pulled over randomly, like like literally, like that literally happened. So it's like it's stuff like that is just kind of, it hits hard. It really does hit hard, and it does become a situation where it's like, oh wow, we're kind of stepping out from us dealing with the character, but now we're looking into the actor and the actors and actresses themselves. Now this is, once again, this is not to beat them up or to be like jumping on the, oh, cancel Austin St. John, like, no, this is not what that is. But at the same time too, it's something that did happen, and that's what we're doing, we're reporting it. But also too, it's a situation where it's like, it's almost kind of like a realization situation where you realize that, like, these people really are human. They're just as human as we are, and a lot of them have some of the same opinions of people that we just don't want to associate with.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened this past week. A lot of people were aired out, like a lot of people, business hit Front Street, and it was alarming to see on Twitter so many Ranger actors and actresses basically get thrown under the bus, and it's like, oh wow, like this is the thing. So, not to dwell on this for too much longer, but it's just one of those situations where it's just like you kind of have to it forces you to basically go, okay, these people are human, and they are just as much of, they can be anybody, behind the scenes, so it's a very touchy situation, but at the same time, it definitely is something that needs to be talked about, needs to be discussed,
Yeah.
so.
I'm hoping that it could be very unlikely, but at the same time, who knows? It could happen. Hopefully, in being dragged like some of these people have been this week, they take a moment to kind of check themselves and maybe be willing to learn and have some conversations and learn and see why people are so hurt and feel so strongly the way that they do.
Right.
I
Right.
instantly thought about Tyra on America's Next Top Model. What was it? Learn from this.
Oh.
Yes, I remember that. She was so angry. She's like, "You
Uh,
learn this. You're not a
Never
victim."
yelled at a girl like this.
yes, and we're all literally rooting for these actors. We
We
love
were rooting
them.
for you. We
Yeah.
were all
And
rooting for
like,
you.
oh man.
Learn
Whew.
something from this. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, I love it. That's funny, Will. But no. But yeah, like, you're right though. You're 100% right. You are 100% right. What, honestly, to be truthfully honest, and I'll say this, and we're just going to go ahead and move on to the comics, but I want to leave off with this. What will help everybody? And I genuinely, honestly, truly believe this. Like, seriously. We need to have a coming together moment. And I know that in light of where we are emotionally, everyone is heightened right now. Like everybody is on edge because we got COVID and everybody is on edge. We're literally like approaching, the holidays, and people can't leave, and like it's a lot. A lot is happening. Everybody is on edge. Everybody is, feeling away, and emotions are heightened. We do need to have a situation where people need to really listen. We need to listen. First of all, listen to one another. For one, we need to listen to one another and really actually have an understanding. There needs to be a level of not only just understanding, but educating. Like Conscious Lee, I don't know if anyone knows of who he is on here, but Conscious Lee is a Black educator on Instagram. He does a lot of great work. His favorite quote that he loves to say is, "Education is elevation." And I feel like a lot of reasons as to why people believe in certain things and they go for certain things is because they don't have they're informed that the places where they get their information from is skewed. It's very it's not factual. A lot of times when I hear someone go, oh, I don't believe in X, Y, and Z, even though that there's thousands of books, thousands of documentaries, thousands of dissertations, papers, all sorts of information out there that literally will support the evidence that this thing exists, but they're out there saying it doesn't exist. I feel like they're being told this and they're not informed. So they've already made up their minds based on what someone else told them or what they may have read or whatever the case may be. What I challenge everyone to do still is to, even though we're all like gagged and duped, like, what? This happened? Like, even though we gagged, still, it's like at the end of the day, recognize that once again, they're people, and that people are always going to have their own opinions no matter what. I mean, that's kind of how I govern everything, no matter who it is, no matter what the situation is. I always recognize at the end of the day that not everybody's going to think like me. Not everybody's going to have the same opinions I do. I mean, like I recognize I am a very liberal person with a little bit of conservatism, but I'm very liberal for the most part. And not everybody is like me. Just like not everybody's like Lena, not everybody's like Will. But at the end of the day, it's important to respect the fact that everybody are going to have their own opinions and that everybody will not agree on everything, but it is also very important for us to still have a little love in our hearts with this, and just hope that, this doesn't get too bad, because I mean, the to be truthfully honest, it sucks. It really does. But at the end of the day, stuff like this happens. So, that's just what happened this past week. So if you want all the ins and outs, it is on the internet.
Yeah, just get on Twitter.
Just get on Twitter. Find it. Because you will find it. And baby, like, it's a lot. So, if you want to know, you can go look for it yourself. But, we're just giving you the overview. That's it. Because we ain't about to get into all that, because that's messy. And we don't deal with mess. Okay? All right. But yes. So that was that. But we're gonna go ahead and segue into our giveaway. So basically, what we're gonna do is this episode is gonna be our episode 50.
Yay! First off,
thank you. Applause.
Let's take a moment. Like, y'all, you don't understand. Like, okay, let's rewind. We're gonna go down I can't speak.
Memory name.
Memory lane, real quick. Last year, we did all but 3 episodes. All but 3. This year, we listened to you guys when we did the voting online. You guys spoke to us and we got our shit together. And yo, I'm actually so fucking proud of us. We released like what, 47 episodes in 1 year.
47.
In 1 fucking year. Like, what the actual fuck?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, yo, we
Yeah.
did that, guys.
Like, seriously?
Done yet. We're not even done yet, guys. We have like maybe a few more episodes out before the year ends. And when you really think about it, we're averaging an episode a week for this entire year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, like, what? We did it.
And not only that, Lena, it's so crazy that you even say that, because the thing is, it's like, we actually, you guys don't really know this at home, but we were actually doubling episodes at one point.
Yeah.
We were doing episodes almost like twice a week.
We were.
We're doing like two different episodes a week.
We were.
And like, we were just pumping out episodes, pumping out interviews. Like, we really listened to you guys, and we really started giving you all the things. And what makes it so good, and what we were talking about, a couple weeks ago, is that and what we're planning, there's a whole lot more coming down the line with Tribunal of the Grid. Like, don't sleep on us now.
No,
Like,
this is only the beginning, guys.
This is only the beginning. Seriously, like, this is only the beginning. We have a lot more coming down the line for you guys, and it's exciting. Like, I honestly can't wait to see what happens in 2021, because like, I had no idea that 2020, I thought 2020 was going to be terrible, Your Honor.
Right?
It was going to be really, really terrible. But honestly, like, for this podcast, it really actually kicked off this year.
It really
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I just want to take a moment and like just really say thank you to everyone that listened to us. Like, dead ass, we didn't think anyone was gonna listen to us at all. We were thinking, okay, we're just gonna do this. Maybe we'll get some people, maybe get 3 people, but no, you guys be like DMing us when we don't have our fucking shit together. Where the fuck are you all? It's time, and it's like, what? You guys actually listen to us? This is a thing?
Girl, when I got that message from one of our listeners being like, hey, I thought the episode was up, I was like, oh my God. Like, you're actually interested? Right? Oh my God.
Like, you don't understand how that makes us feel. Like, you honestly don't understand. Like, it's granted, it was technical difficulty and we resolved it, but yo, to have you guys say that and be like, yo, where are you at? Like, hello, it's time. It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
Like,
you really care about us.
Like, what the heck, guys? Oh my gosh. Like, thank you so much for taking the time and listen to our dumb asses every week. Like,
no, seriously. Like, it honestly, it is one of the most like gratifying feelings ever. And like, we are so grateful. Like, you guys have no idea how grateful we are. And like Lena said, it was like, we literally have been pushing out pretty much an episode every week this year. And it's like, this is crazy. Like, we're coming up towards the very end of the year, and we literally did way more episodes than we could have possibly imagined, interviewed more people than we possibly could have imagined.
Yeah.
And the people that took the time for us to
oh my God.
them, like, if you guys ever listen to us on a regular, like, thank you so much.
Seriously.
So much.
Seriously. Just first of all, not even that. Shout out to the actors that we interviewed. Like,
Right?
Absolutely.
yo, like William Shufelt, Christopher Kamen Lee, Justin Nimmo, Nakia Burrise, Catherine Sutherland, Brennan
Samuel
Mejia,
Penta.
Samuel Benta. Just like, and I know I'm forgetting some, but it's just like,
oh, we're definitely forgetting a ton. Like we had a
we had a lot.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Like we really did a lot.
You don't
So
understand.
I really want to say thank y'all. Like, thank you to
you.
the actors that we interviewed. Thank you for you listeners who you're just like, we really gonna listen to y'all and we're gonna really support.
And
Like,
that's why segue. That's why this giveaway is so important for us, and that's why we wanted to do it for you guys, because we wanted to
seriously.
show our appreciation, our gratitude, our love. It's so amazing. I don't even have the words. I'm literally getting so emotional right now. I don't like.
Oh
my God. Not only just it's who would have thought we would be here on our 50th episode of all to be like, yo, we're here. We made it here. And don't get me wrong, it's not like we won an award or anything like that, but it just blows our mind. We just never thought we would actually get to this point.
Yeah. That, like, honestly, to be truthfully honest, I didn't think that, because to be honest, like, remember when I pitched this to you guys? When I pitched this to you, I had no idea. I was just like, I just want to do a thing.
it was just gonna be a hobby. We're gonna do a thing. It still is a hobby. That's what makes
it
so
is.
great.
Right. Exactly. Like that's really what the gag was. It was just gonna be just something that we were just like, oh, we're just gonna do this, if people listen, oh well, whatever.
Right.
If people listen, okay, cool. But for the most part, we're just making it for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. But for people who've actually jumped on and like actually listened, for the people who even came on the show, like who weren't actors, like Blurred Vision and the Morphin Grid and like all of, like, oh my gosh, like,
oh my God, yes,
mind blowing. Like, I'm like,
there's been
you
so
guys.
much. Oh my God, it doesn't even like, it feels like we've longer than a year. Like, it feels like
it does.
It's been so much.
Oh, we did, guys. Yo, I can't believe we did this much. We did this much. We got so many people on here. Oh my God, so many laughter, so many stupidity, and people actually listen to us. Like, what the heck?
Right.
I'm blown away, like so blown away right now. I'm shaking. I'm like, yo, I can't wrap my head around this. That I'm so shocked. Like, yo, it really felt like a really, not like a long year in a bad way, but like it truly was such. It was so much in 1 year. Like we packed so much in without even realizing it too. We were just kind of like, all right, cool, pandemic, no problem. Let's talk about Power Rangers. Looking to waste their time? No problem. Let's do an episode. Let's talk about Power Rangers.
So yes, thank you all so much for just being with us and sticking with us through this year. There's still more coming down the line. So, keep on supporting us, keep on, being a part, because, there's more coming. There's more coming, which is the reason why we did this giveaway. Now, what's going to happen is when we post this episode, when we put this episode up and we put it on Instagram, we are also going to announce the winners of our giveaway. So make sure you look out for that. Make sure you look in the comment section to see if your name is there. If your name is there, make sure you hit us up. You know what I'm saying? We'll also put it in the thread, obviously, as well. We'll put it there. But make sure you put that stuff in there because, make sure you look at the comment section because you know you might win, and you might win an awesome Lightning Collection prize. So there you have it, guys. Our giveaway is done. We are commemorating our 50 episodes. And, you know, we are excited for what's coming down the pipeline. So, like I said, this was a thank you to all of you guys who supported us over the years. So, you know, if you're at home, clap for yourselves. You know, clap it up. And, you know, once again, thank you. Just thank you. Will, I know that you, because you're like the comic person, right? Like you are like all in the comics tea. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna first discuss Mighty Morphin because obviously Mighty Morphin then Power Rangers, right? It's not Power Rangers,
Right.
Mighty Morphin. So we're gonna discuss Mighty Morphin, issue 1. So just a quick overview. What happened? What happened, and what's your opinion on it?
Okay. So, I loved. I really like this issue. I really like this issue. In this one, we still didn't get the reveal of who the new Green Ranger is. However, we got to basically get to know everybody's reactions on having a Green Ranger show up out of nowhere. There's some Rangers that are optimistic. There's some that are totally freaked out, and there's some that are hoping that he'll become a part of the team. There's one Ranger in particular that actually knows everything that's going on, but he's not speaking, and that is Billy, which is this is interesting that Billy is holding this secret and he knows who the Green Ranger is and he helped to create the Green Ranger, but he hasn't told Zordon, he hasn't told any other Rangers about it. So this adds a nice little wrinkle into the story. This is like creating some drama. Zed, he was in a coma for basically the entire issue from the fight that he had with the Green Ranger at the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And by the end of the issue, he wakes up and now he is infused by the power of the Green Chaos Crystal, which it seems like we can't get ourselves away from that thing because that thing has been around since like pre Shattered Grid, I think.
I want to say no. I want to, well, and let me think back because I don't want to be wrong, but I don't think it was. I think that the Green Chaos Crystal was picking up, they were picking up kind of like off of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like all that stuff kind of already happened once everything reset. I think they still kind of went on with season 2 as far as like all that stuff with the Green Chaos Crystal and the
Wait, yes,
Extra Rangers.
It was around
It
before
was
Shattered Grid because I remember them mentioning it. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think like Scorpina had something to do with it. I think it's been like 2 years since I read that.
I was
So
gonna say it's been 2 years. I can't. I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. Like,
well, that thing is still around, and now it's running through Lord Zed's veins. So he's going to be a problem for the Rangers coming up now. We knew that Rocky was friends with Matt. We found that out in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers a few issues back. And there was a very interesting interaction between Matt and Tommy in this episode because they know who each other are, but they've never been properly introduced. And when Rocky introduced Tommy and Matt, Tommy was really cold, which is like something we're not used to seeing from Tommy or any of the Power Rangers. But of course, Matt tells Rocky he probably was cold because I used to date Kimberly. So that was
Right.
that was interesting.
Gagged.
And uh, we're getting a little bit more development with Skull's girlfriend Candace, and there's basically Bulk is jealous of her and is just being a dick to her. Later on in the episode, Skull takes her out to a nice restaurant as an apology, but she lets him know, like, I know Bulk is acting the way that he's acting, but you and me are cool. Then as they're walking down the street, she looks into an alleyway and sees a silhouette, and then she stops and tells Skull that she left her phone in the restaurant. So he runs and goes to get it. And she walks down the alleyway and she has a conversation with some sort of a figure. They're telling her that whatever whatever was going on, like she was thinking that she was going to be there for maybe like a couple of more months to a year, but something is happening much sooner. And then we find out that Candace is not even a human being. She's an Eltarian. She's from Zordon's planet. So that's like a big old like new plot point to go with Bulk and Skull storyline. So
So
there was a lot of like groundwork to get us prepared for what's coming next. It was I feel like it was a fun issue.
now for me, like first of all, I enjoyed this comic. I enjoyed this issue a lot. One of the things that like for me I really enjoyed was the very beginning because the way they set it up, definitely, I didn't even realize. Like, of course, we should all know that not everything in the comic is like just thrown away. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not
Mm-hmm.
just there just to be there. Like, there's a
Mm-hmm.
reason for it to be there. And that very beginning, I enjoyed the the opening of it with us seeing Zordon
Flashbacks.
in his that flashback with Zordon in his Eltarian armor, with all these other Eltarian soldiers trying to fight these other aliens, and him being a novice because it shows that Zordon was not always the all-knowing omniscient father figure that the show pumps him out to be, and that the comic even sometimes pumps him out to be. But I love how the comic humanizes him to a point where it's like he realizes that he made a lot of mistakes and he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want the same mistakes. He made a lot of mistakes and he doesn't want the same thing that happened to him to happen to the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost kind of like, yeah, I know I fucked up, but I don't want the same thing to happen to these teenagers. You know what I'm saying? And plus, also too, I'm pretty sure he's still holding on to a lot of guilt with the original Rangers from 1969.
Mm-hmm.
So he's holding a lot of guilt and a lot of remorse for a lot of the stuff that happened. So I really enjoy that Zordon is, he's really finicky when it comes to like certain things. Uh, one of the other things that I loved about this comic is that I love Adam's reaction. I love it. Like Adam
Mm-hmm.
was like, he was giving it to him. Like, so you mean to tell me that ain't Draken? So
Right,
y'all
right,
trying to
right,
tell me
right,
that
right,
Green
right.
Ranger ain't Draken? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
I
he was going in, and I loved
right.
it.
I love that scene because it kind of finally gave us more of the personalities of Rocky, Adam, and Aisha.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
really made Rocky funny. Like
Yeah.
They actually did a really good job with that. Like him saying that the new Green Ranger probably isn't like Ernie, right? It's not Ernie, right? Like, and then at the end of the conversation, he once again was asking like, oh, maybe it is Ernie. Like that was funny. And then he had a lot of funny banter during the fight with Pandemonium, which that was a cool name.
I'm not gonna lie, that monster was dope. I was like, I kind of liked it. Not even gonna lie,
And
I
there
enjoyed
was
that.
speak real quick, speaking of Billy's dishonesty, because he's lying by omission. Uh Aisha, she
Mm-hmm.
is picking up on the fact that he's acting a bit strange. Um in ever since the Green Ranger shown up. So look at the black woman's intuition. Yeah,
Okay,
she's
listen,
and it's spot on.
listen. I loved all of that. Like that part for me was like, yes. Look, see, listen. Anytime we get stuff on Aisha, I love it. Like
Yeah.
I am just like I love the fact that we are getting so much good stuff with Aisha because Aisha is basically she's kind of like the leader of the Stone Canyon Trio.
Mhm.
Like she really is. Like she is running the ship,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's so great to see her just being the problem solver, being the one that's like, yo, like I mean, I know that your boy and everything. I know y'all got history. Billy is, your homie, your friend, but something ain't right with him. Like
Yeah.
he acting like he knows something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Kimberly just completely just dismisses her immediately.
Yeah.
Like you don't know him like I know him. Like,
And
and
I
I
think
love it.
I think that it's smart that um they had it as though Aisha is confiding this in just Kimberly. She didn't want to say it in front of Billy or the rest of the entire team.
Right.
She just talked to Kimberly about it.
Which is going to
Um,
be great for the future because it's like I feel like especially once Kimberly realizes that because right now I mean yeah Kimberly it does kind of she is kind of like giving Aisha a little more a little more leeway into the group, you know what I'm saying, she is kind of
mhm.
like letting her in a little more, but I do feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah because like Kimberly was not trying to be mean but Kimberly was an asshole to the new
Yeah,
team.
and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and those
Yeah,
issues.
she was like
Yes.
when they first came, like she was a straight up asshole to them. Like, I mean, the rest of them was kind of like, trying to like, be mentors to them. And she was just being just completely ornery, like just
Mhm.
being just a complete jerk. And it's
Mhm.
like, yo, like this is unwarranted. I hope you do realize that. Like how you acting towards them is like, I mean, we're talking about the same ones who were like, martial artists themselves. Like they came in already knowing how to fight. So it's not like they're just complete novices that never fought a day in their lives. Like
Mhm.
they know what they're doing, and just trust them, and that's how it had to be, where they had to basically prove themselves even though they were getting tired of it, because it's like every time they would try to prove themselves, either they'd fall flat on their faces, or they'd be berated by Kimberly. So it's like
Mhm.
they're tired. They're like, okay, I'm tired of trying to prove myself to this helper. Like, I mean, either you're gonna like me or not. So for Aisha to basically feel like, you know, I feel comfortable enough to confide this in you shows a lot about their future relationship. And I think that
Because
those two are really going
yeah.
to be in the future, probably a really power team in the future.
Yeah, yeah, because in the show they become the best of friends. So you would
Right.
think that that may happen in the comics as well. But something that I am interested to see is um will Kimberly keep this to herself or will she speak to the other Rangers, and in particular, Tommy or Billy about this? Or if like she starts, or will she keep it in and then like she'll, maybe notice something on her own and then come back to Aisha like, oh wow, you're right. Like it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
I honestly feel like it'll probably be more the latter. I feel like it'll
I
probably
hope
be
so.
her being like, oh shoot, I just realized this happened. Like, yo, you were right. You know what I'm saying? And that'll probably be that button that'll get her to trust Aisha more. Because really, what I feel like it's a trust issue. Like, this is somebody who had been through Shattered Grid, through all this crazy stuff, go and all this stuff, like with Trini, with her best friend. So it's like someone else coming into the fold. Girl, I don't know you. I don't trust you, and I have resentment because of that. So, and I'm unfairly giving you a hard time because I want my friend back. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this will be that moment, even though it's being used at the expense of another friend. Because it is really messed up that Billy is lying to them. And that's going to really draw,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to really put a real damper on their friendship as a whole. But it really sucks that it's like, damn, like I'm actually going to get closer to this person at the expense of someone who I'm actually very close best friends with. So that's going to be a very interesting situation when we get down that. I firmly believe that more than likely it's going to be a situation where she's just going to be like, she's going to basically come back and be like, damn, like, girl, it's cool, like I apologize. But then the thing is, it's like it comes at the expense of her friendship with Billy. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that is going to, down the line, how that's going to influence her relationship between Billy. Because I mean, this is the same situation where, they've all been, fighting these monsters together. So they're very close. Like, they're very close at this situation. So it's like, damn, like you know what I'm saying? I've been fighting these monsters with you all these years. Yeah, all these years. Because I mean, well, maybe it's years. I don't know, but all this time, I've been fighting monsters with you all this time, and you lying to me. You know what I'm saying? So the drama of it all. Like, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with this.
Something that they've added, when there's dialogue going from one panel, you have to turn the page and go to another, and there'll be like they'll finish up the dialogue in the little box. Now they've color coded it and put in like a power coin if it's a one of the Rangers speaking, and if it's like Zed speaking, they'll put a little Z, so it won't confuse you as much on who's saying what. I thought that was kind of a cool little thing that they added.
True.
And I like Pandemonium. That was cool. Panda Bear with armor and had a bunch of spears in the back of the armor. And then his attack where he just made all of the spears shoot out at the Rangers. That was cool. But yeah, this was a fun this I always want to call it an episode. This was a fun issue, and it really kind of laid down the groundwork for where Mighty Morphin is going to go. And you have a really dramatic thing in there with Billy being untrue to the whole team. So like to see how that'll pan out is something I'm really looking forward to.
Power Rangers issue 1.
Number 1.
Baby. Now, this one, I have to honestly say, as much as I loved Mighty Morphin issue 1, Power Rangers issue 1, that was my jam. First of all,
Absolutely.
like I've said this before on this podcast before. I love the the drawings of
Yes,
Go-Go.
yes.
And the fact that
Exactly.
we got that art again makes me
Yes.
so happy.
That was one of my favorite things about it because it looks like Go-Go.
It
Or
looks just like Go-Go.
at least the very end of Go-Go. In the Necessary
Yes.
Evil arc.
Right. Like I am in love with that art style. Like I love it. Like that art style is so beautiful because it looks like an anime. That I think that's what I really like about it is that it looks like an anime, and I love it. I absolutely adore how it looks. So I'm like, yes, we got Go-Go art again. Yes. But yeah, like tell me about, give a little summary. Tell me what you think about Mighty Morphin.
So there's a ton more drama in this one. At the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Jason let it be known that they need to go back to Earth to try and get help from Zordon dealing with the Imperial. So they make their way back to Earth. We have a really cool scene where the six Rangers are just chilling on the beach, and then the Omegas come down and surprise them. So it's a nice reunion, but Jason has to let it be known that we're not back for good. This is actually a business call. So they go to the command center where uh, Jason lays down what's going on with the Imperial, and they fill him in on the fact that the Imperial like destroyed an entire planet, and like the other Rangers are like freak the hell out. Between the Rangers and the Omegas, they pretty much come up with they realized that Draken was actually running from the Imperial. I think Kimberly mentioned something about Draken, and then they kind of like put everything together. So the Omegas go down to the dungeon to talk to Draken, and he lets them know that he does know about the Imperials. And while they're talking to him, Tommy, he comes in and interrupts their interrogation and says, like, you guys can't believe anything that he's saying. This guy's a liar. Which that was I thought that was he was really coming on strong with how he interrupted them and like shot down whatever Draken was saying to them. A little bit later, the Rangers go up to Zordon and they ask if they can take Draken with them to try and figure out how to take on the Imperial. And Zordon says no. Rangers go down to the juice bar. They reunite with Ernie, which it was nice seeing Ernie be like so happy to see them. And Bulk and Skull are Hayden uh calling them names and stuff, watching them from another table. And it's interesting, there's a moment with Candace where um I think Skull mentioned something obviously about them being back home, and then she's like, oh yeah, it must be nice to be back home or something like that. So I guess that's was a little Easter egg for how Mighty Morphin ended. Rocky and Jason sparred. There was a really cool scene between the two of them where Rocky let Jason in and let him know that he's like really insecure about taking over after him because he's not the leader. And even though what Jason said was nice about don't let your color define you, I kind of thought that was like kind of shady because, like, for real, like you aren't the leader, so like you're not the leader. You're the Red Ranger, but you're not the leader. But I mean that's okay. You're new, so like don't feel bad about it. um, that
I mean,
that was
but you know what though? I kind of want to say this while you before you go on, I feel like I do want to say this. I do feel like the situation of that was it was kind of almost kind of like the writers like Ryan Parrott probably introduced this in there just to kind of put out there that to kind of like in this whole age-old argument of oh Rocky was a terrible leader and all of that. Rocky was never meant to be the leader, people.
Right.
You know, and I see it a lot on social media too, where people would say, "Oh, I didn't like Rocky because he was a terrible leader. Like he wasn't a good Red Ranger because he wasn't as good as Jason. He was never meant to be as good as Jason. He was brand new. Like he wasn't meant to be the leader at any point. Like just because and I think that a lot of people got confused because he piloted the Megazord and he was, in the front, but he was only in the front because Jason was in the front. And Jason was piloting the Megazord. But that's the only reason why he was there. I mean, he wasn't there because he was supposed to be the quote unquote pseudo leader. That wasn't his role. And it never was Rocky's role. Rocky was never meant to be the leader. And I love how the story basically kind of made him kind of also do kind of like a outside looking in, even though he himself is talking about it in his own way as a reflection of himself, but he's also acknowledging the fandom itself as to why the fandom is trying to make him, is also jabbing at him for being like, you're not as good as Jason. And he himself is feeling that way. Like, I'm not the leader, even Trini, got to wear red, and she was the leader. But I'm wearing red and I'm not the leader.
That was cool that he mentioned that.
Right. Like he's like, yo, like everybody got to wear red and they were leader. Well, when I get to wear red, I'm not the leader. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, like, that's messed up. So,
and
you can understand it.
Yeah, and it was nice that he reassured him, like, you're here while I'm out in space doing my mission, you're here protecting my friends and family. So how could I ever be disappointed in you for doing that? So that was a nice little conversation that they had.
It really was. It was. I definitely enjoyed that little interchange, even though it does undercut the conversation or the whole episode of Zio when Jason and Rocky actually have pretty much the same kind of interaction, but Rocky just goes out and does some stupid stuff, like go out and fight King Mondo on his own and almost get killed. But yeah, like I thought that to be kind of cool that, that interaction actually happened and we actually got to see them actually converse and talk about it.
Right. And then I think in like the next panel we see Trini, Tommy, Kimberly, and Aisha. They're basically talking about what went down with Zordon. Tommy actually agreed with what Zordon said, and then Trini is like, she goes off on Tommy, and like, you don't know what I saw. Like, I saw this thing destroy an entire planet. Like, I watched that happen. Like, this is not okay. And then she like storms off. That was I like that. I like seeing Trini so fiery. Yeah, because we didn't, in the show we didn't really get to see that. They just they fleshed her out so well.
No, and that's the thing, and that's the thing I love about this part of the conversation, because first of all, I love to see the Rangers fight because I mean, first of all, that's just we're human beings and we disagree. So, not everybody's going to be, living in Pleasantville, drinking Pleasantville water. That's not going to happen. So I enjoy the fact that they have disagreements. Like they disagree with each other. And I feel like Trini, she was basically saying, like, if you saw what I saw, you'd be wanting to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You're going based off of, you're going based off your own judgment, but you haven't seen the things that I've seen. Mm-hmm. You haven't experienced what I experienced with this Imperial. So you don't know what you're dealing with, but I do. So, you need to back and shut up, because you don't know what you're talking about. Right. And I just love her reading Tommy for filth, because like I feel like it's like, yeah, Tommy, you've been leading and stuff as of lately, but now you done got to the point where you getting, you kind of getting your gusto. You kind of feeling yourself a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of feeling yourself. You're smelling yourself a little bit too much, bro. Like, I need you to calm it down. You know what I'm saying? Because he was on 10 since they were in the command center. Like, he was on 10 about the situation. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, Mr. Know-It-All, and she's like, I need you to sit your ass down. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. I need you to shut up.
And then one of my favorite scenes in the entire comic was all of the Rangers outside of the youth center. They're saying their goodbyes under the impression that they're going to see each other like the next day. And as the six are leaving, Jason, Zach, and Trini are talking about, what a nice time they had catching up with everybody. And Zach's talking about, I even talked to Book and Skull for a little bit. It wasn't very long. And then a little bit of silence. And he's like, so we're going to break Draken out, right? I love that transition. And then, like, as I'm reading it for the first time, I'm like, oh shit, they're about to go against Zordon. Really? Right. So that just, like, I was so hyped. And then, of course, the next scene, well, before we get to the extraction, we had a scene with Zordon and Alpha, where Zordon is having second thoughts about his decision to not let the Rangers take Draken with them. And he's asking, Alpha, was I too hard on them? And Alpha, saying, I think you did what you thought was right. And then Zordon just straight up turned around and said, you know what, I'm going to talk to them tomorrow. Maybe this could work. So they say goodnight. Alpha initiated security protocol Draken 1. And there's these little tiny alpha bots that are patrolling around Draken's his containment area. The Omega Rangers are somehow able to get into the command center. Think it had to do with some of Z's technology on their ship. He was able to teleport them in, but they obviously have a really small window of time. And then they have like this Mission Impossible type scene where they're cutting through the lasers, jumping through them and stuff. And
which was badass.
And getting past the little alpha bots. And long story short, they get to Draken's his cage, and they let him know, like, we're taking you with us. You have no say in this, but you're coming with us. You're going to help us take care of the Imperial. And then Alpha catches them, and it's like, it's such an awkward moment, obviously, because Alpha can't let them leave with Draken because Zordon said no. Like, even though he knows that there's going to be a conversation with them the next day, like, he can't allow this to happen. So he's telling them to stand down, and they're at kind of like a standstill. And then Draken freaking decks Alpha and busts his head open.
Yo,
And
Jason was like, don't you
yeah,
ever,
yeah,
don't you ever touch Alpha again. Like, I will whoop your ass. Like, I was like, get him, Jason. I love it.
yeah. And then this takes me back to some of the. I can't remember if it was in Mighty Morphin. I guess it was. Yeah, it was in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when they used to just every now and again just destroy Alpha, and then of course he's only a robot, so it's easy to bring him back. But we haven't
What?
seen him get beat up like this in a while.
Well, they wouldn't destroy him. They would just insert a little floppy disk in him and,
Well, no, no,
disconnect
no,
them.
no, 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 no. I meant the comics.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The
They
comics,
used
yeah.
to.
The comics would, yeah, they would dismantle his ass in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So Zordon, I guess he hears all of the commotion going on, and he's telling the Omega Rangers like, don't leave, don't do this. You're this is a betrayal. This is Jason, this is a betrayal of everything we stand for. If you take Draken, I will not hesitate to unleash everything at my disposal to stop you. And then Jason basically says, if that's what you need to do, you can do it. I'm sorry. And then he teleports away with Draken and the other Rangers, and they are leaving Earth and they are looking for the Imperial. So that's crazy because now basically the Omega Rangers have betrayed Zordon's trust. So what is their relationship going to look like? They just got back on good terms with the other Rangers, so now that's going to be messed up again. So,
Right. Right. That is the part that I'm like, yo. Like, so I want to just take it one step back to, because the reason why I wanted to come back to this and I wanted you to go ahead and finish because I had a whole moment with this part in this comic. So the part when Tommy kind of comes at them when they were trying to talk to Draken and he busts in like, yo, don't be paying attention to him, he lying and all this stuff. I feel like, this is me, I personally feel like the reason why he came in with such gusto, like he got the big cojones, you know what I'm saying, is because is because he's feeling some type of way because this is the same guy that basically destroyed like a whole like timelines. Like he literally went through several timelines to acquire the power to become this grand monarch, and basically, destroy so many people's lives and did all this evil stuff. He created the whole shattered grid. He destroyed the grid. He destroyed the morphing grid to a point where that was giving people powers that they shouldn't, and which created this whole league of, the what were they called? The empowered or whatever they were called. So Draken basically spawned a whole shit ton of mess. So he doesn't see it for Draken at all. Like he only knows Draken to be this thing. But the gag is, I feel like what Tommy's real problem is that he recognizes that anything Draken does falls back on him. And that he knows that if they were to unleash Draken and Draken does something, 9 times out of 10, the repercussions would come back on not Draken, but Tommy himself. He knows that. And basically, instead of recognizing the fact that, yes, Draken has information that may help the Omega Rangers kind of, gauge how to defeat this new enemy, instead of recognizing that, he's taking it personal to a point where it's like, don't believe him because I know he lying, because if I was him, because I am him, and I'd lie to you in this case. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's taking all of this personal instead of actually listening to the Rangers and being like, yo, like if he's saying he dealt with them before, we need to figure out how to defeat these things, how to defeat the Imperial. Like we need to figure this out. And he's like, no. So I understand where Tommy is coming from, but at the same time, it's a situation where it's like I said before, bro, you don't know what the hell is going on. So you need to sit down. Like you really don't know what's going on. And it's the same situation with Zordon. Zordon has never even heard of these people before. So it's like, Zordon, if you never even heard of them, how can you even effectively, you know what I'm saying? How can you effectively kind of guide us on what to do? It's like the blind leading the blind. Why would we ask you for help when you have no idea what the hell going on either? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know. And that's why I love the end when, Jason was talking to Zordon before they dipped. And he was just like, basically, in other words, basically saying, I'm sorry, Zordon, but you're not the lead of us. You're not our mentor anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You can't help us anymore. Like, you've been on Earth so long to the point where it's like you're so out of touch with what's going on in the universe. You don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But we do. We're out here. We're out here in the trenches. We out here. So I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm not paying attention to you. Like maybe you'll forgive me in the future, but as of right now, this is what we got to do. So, I mean, the drama, the betrayal, I love it. Another thing that really spoke to me in this issue was the fact that one thing I really loved, and this is just something minor, but I loved how Zach was talking to Ernie and was telling Ernie about, telling them about their adventures in space by paralleling it with them being at a quote unquote peace conference. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like that was genius. Yeah. It was like he was telling them literally exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't so much of a lie because they actually have been away doing good stuff.
Exactly. He didn't lie to Ernie at all. Like he didn't lie to him. He just phrased it in a way to make it seem like, we're in a peace conference. Like we're helping the world, but in actuality, they're not just helping the world, they're helping like the whole entire universe. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that conversation. I was like, oh wow, that's kind of dope. One thing that I really enjoyed, and like I had to keep looking at this panel over and over and over because it really told us exactly how skilled the Omega Rangers are. The very beginning, this is how I know Trini is the leader of this team. Right. The very beginning, the opening of this issue, you got Trini schooling the hell out of Jason and Zach.
That was awesome. She beat their asses.
I mean, it was like she was kicking them, it was like, she was like, we're going to be fighting in different terrains, different atmospheres, different atmospheric pressures and all this stuff. We can't just keep on doing the same old. Like, we can't keep doing this. So we got to step it up. And old girl was just whooping their asses. But then it's like the training that they were doing at the very beginning, they utilized it when they were breaking Draken out. Right, I don't know if you noticed it, but
I didn't even realize
exactly what they did. Yeah. Yeah, they utilized that same training when they broke Draken out. With all the flipping and the spy moves that they were doing and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure that was all training that they were doing at the very beginning, because that was what they were doing with the flipping and all of that. So it's like they are skilled as fuck at this point. Like, like the Omegas are on it. Like, I am like so impressed with how bomb these Omega Rangers are.
And a minor thing about Trini's appearance, she has long hair. The haircut that they gave her at the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I guess that was just that artist's interpretation, but she has long hair.
Can we talk? Okay, real quick, because I want to talk about this just real fast. So, and this is no dig to the artists or anybody, and it was the same thing with Aisha, because in the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Aisha had short braids that look like dreads almost, honestly. And then they went back to the long hair, the long braids. But one thing I noticed about these two comics, it's mainly about Rocky. Rocky has a short haircut on one, and then the next one he got a mullet. They're happening at the same exact time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're happening at the same time, both comics. So it's kind of weird to see Rocky walking around with a mullet in one and short hair in the other. It's just like, I need y'all to get on one accord. But I mean, it's very minor. Like, it's very minor. I mean, I actually prefer Rocky to have the mullet, to be truthfully honest with you. I like the mullet, but whatever.
I like the shortcut on him, actually.
I like the mullet. I don't know. It's something charming about that mullet, man. Like, because I guess because he's such a clown, and clowns kind of wear mullets, other than like the crazy clown.
Wow.
I don't know. Like, it's something charming about that mullet, man. I don't know. But I don't know. I like it. But it's just funny to me that, like, they just keep on giving Rocky that damn mullet. And what is with the Rangers wearing their suits when they're talking to Zordon? They can't wear regular civilian clothing?
Right. Like we haven't seen that before.
I mean, we have. I mean, yeah, we have. Like, when they talk to Zordon, they're
No.
suits.
I was saying, like, they're acting like we haven't seen them in civilian clothes talking to Zordon before. Yeah. Like, we definitely seen that in the comics before.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of weird that they just suited up just to go and talk to Zordon. It's like, why are we doing this? Like, why? Weird. I don't know. But yeah, like, this whole issue for me, Mighty Morphin was really good, but Power Rangers, yeah, I'm ready for issue number 2. Like, I am so pumped for issue 2.
I really loved issue 2 of issue 1 of Power Rangers. So, like you said, I am also really, really looking forward to seeing to reading the second issue and seeing where everything is going to go. I know initially when the Omega Rangers were introduced, I was kind of wondering, do I want to stick with them? Because, it wasn't something that was a part of the show. But through the end of the Necessary Evil arc, and then I guess, but basically, yeah, through the end of that, and then through the end of Mighty Morphin, obviously, I really was into the stories that they were telling with them. So I'm totally all for continuing on with them, even though this is like, a big departure from what we had in season 2.
It's crazy because, like, I'm really excited to see the world that they're going to build. Like, this breaking away from, like, this breaking away from the status quo, of the two teams coinciding with each other. Basically, at this point, this is where the real separation of the two teams will begin. Where it's like, now Jason, Zach, and Trini are going to be going for good at this point. Like, I really feel like that's it. Like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like this is the moment where it's like, this is why we don't see Jason, Zach, and Trini ever again. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we see Jason again.
But Zio. But I mean, like, like, I mean, this is because remember,
this is only season 2.
Yeah, like, like, this is the moment where it's like, they're pretty much done. Like they've pretty much like severed their relationship with Zordon at this point. Like Zordon is like, screw y'all. Like I'm done. You know what I'm saying? You betrayed me. You betrayed your friends. Like we're done. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is their way of justifying why Jason, Zach, and Trini really are going at this point. So now it really does make sense as to why, we don't see them again.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be very interesting. And I can't wait to see the world that the Omega Rangers kind of show us, because there's a lot that goes on in the galaxy, that Power Rangers don't touch on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that happened, and I can't wait to see the different monsters.
And I've heard Ryan Parrott like kind of allude to there are also other things that happen in the Power Rangers universe that were like happening at this time that we never saw, and a lot of stuff with other seasons that just hasn't been explored yet that maybe could be explored while they're in space. So that's kind of exciting.
All right. Well, this has been an episode of Tribunal of the Grid. My name is Brandon.
I am Lena.
I'm Will.
And we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.